I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. On Friday, Texas Governor Greg Abbott tore into the Biden administration and DHS over the continued surge of migrants at the southern border. Responding to a question about the dozens of people on the terror watch list attempting to cross into the U.S., Abbott said the national security failure was, quote, one of the most reprehensible things the Biden administration is doing. Abbott, who is campaigning for re-election and is widely considered a possible 2024 contender, has made border security a key pillar of his political identity. Let's listen in.
Operation Lone Star and the Texas Department of Public Safety over the past year have seized almost enough fentanyl to kill every man, woman, and child in the entire United States of America. The reason why that must be underscored is that is fentanyl that got past Border Patrol. If it were not for Operation Lone Star, the Texas Department of Public Safety, and Texas law enforcement, that would be fentanyl on the streets in the United States, killing Americans across our country. And it just goes to show the way that the Biden administration and their approach to not securing the border is exposing to Americans across the entire country to deadly fentanyl. With that, we'll be happy to take a few questions.
The caravans have been dismantled, but the migrants are still moving forward.
That you made is the information that we are getting is that to a large extent the large caravans are being disbanded. However, that does not mean that the people who were part of those caravans will not continue to try to make their way to the border. Our response is the same, and that is we will be utilizing every tool and strategy that we can to make sure that illegal immigration will not be able to take place.
DHS is now thinking about moving migrants to Los Angeles, Albuquerque, Houston, and Dallas, something that you at one point were doing as well.
But what DHS needs to do is their job. Their job is to enforce the laws passed by the United States Congress. That would mean to stop the illegal immigration from occurring in the first place. It would mean not tying the hands of ICE, not tying the hands of the Border Patrol officers, but rather unleashing them to do their job.
Governor, new CBP numbers show that there have been 50 people on the terror watch list arrested here at the southern border just this fiscal year alone. That's more than the last 5 years combined. Your reaction to that?
That's one of the most reprehensible things the Biden administration is doing. So you talked about 50 people on the terrorist watch list who've been apprehended. What you did not mention is all of those on the terrorist watch list who got away. If you're on the terror watch list, you will be spending more money to the cartels to try to evade being caught. So what that means is there's a high probability that there are a lot of people on the terror watch list who've come into the United States. This is the president's job, national security. And our national security is at risk because of all these terrorists who are on the watch list who may have come across the border. The president of the United States is failing in his most fundamental duty, and that is to keep our nation safe.
Governor, your initiative to send migrants by bus to Washington. We see any report that shows that over $1.6 million have been spent on this initiative. Where's the money coming from? How much more are you going to spend? And how's
So first, I will tell you this. I wish we weren't sending anybody anywhere. And the only reason why we're having to put people on buses and send them to Washington, D.C. is because the Biden administration is not only not doing their job, but the Biden administration is apprehending people who cross the border illegally and then dumping them in cities that have no capability of handling them whatsoever. And it's those cities and small towns along the Rio Grande and along the border that need our help to move those migrants elsewhere. And so we're doing our part to try to help our local communities. We're hoping that meaningful parts of the funding will continue to come from donations. People can help out by going to an online site, borderbus.texas.gov, to contribute. But the bottom line is this. We will continue to alleviating the costs that local governments would otherwise have to be responsible for had it not been for the Biden administration's open border policies.
Still willing to hire some Border Patrol agents like in your...
100%. And listen, again, it's despicable. These Border Patrol agents who were on those horses, who were using the reins to control those horses, have been completely exonerated by all law enforcement agencies. And yet, the Biden administration it still seems intent on punishing those Border Patrol officers. As governor, I'd be more than happy, I'd be honored to have those Border Patrol officers be a part of the Texas team to secure the border.
2 more questions? Are there any more?
President Biden has never been to the border. You invite him?
We have demanded that Joe Biden come to the border, and not for a candy-coated tour. He needs to see the struggles of what people in Del Rio are dealing with. He needs to see the ranches that have been ripped apart by the illegal immigration that he has allowed. He needs to talk to the people whose lives have been completely disrupted. He needs to talk to angel moms who have lost a child because of an illegal immigrant in the United States of America. He needs to see firsthand the chaos that he has caused.
Last question?
We have seen, of course, like on the news, videos and everything, what's happening here, not only here in the valley, but all in the border. Do you think he's just not paying attention? You're just pretending not to see what is actually happening here in the border?
Remember that Joe Biden campaigned on the promise of open border policies. The chaos that you are talking about that we're seeing on our border is the chaos that Joe Biden promised when he campaigned for president of the United States. And the American people are fed up with it. The people in the Rio Grande Valley, the people who live in border communities, many of whom may have supported Biden as president, now want to reject him as president because they cannot stand what his open border policies are doing to their state and to their country.
Great, thank you guys.
Thank you all.